Disney. Gosh, only up 1% today.
Is it?
I check every morning. Now I wake up and like, yo, Google.
You said like alerts and stuff.
Yeah, man. I should do that. Anytime it's 2% or more, text message. I'm gonna do that. Hey, welcome to Outside the Virus. This is a show that we do to talk about stocks and your money. Basically, things happening outside the virus-related headlines because, people talk about that a lot. What are we going to do when the virus is over? Well, first of all, do you think the virus is going to be over anytime soon?
Well, we're going to have to do outside the election at some point, for sure.
Oh, so you think the virus, that means you'll think the virus will be out of the news headlines before the election?
Out of the headlines, yes. It'll still be around, it'll still do its thing, just like the flu, but I think the election will take front.
So outside the election?
Outside the election.
Well, you heard it first there.
Breaking news.
All right. What do you got?
Today is the holiday. Do you know what holiday it is?
Yesterday was Stoner holiday, right?
No, that was 2 days ago.
Oh wow, it's been 2 days, man.
Yeah, well, it's still their holiday, like you said. It's all month apparently. So.
4/22. Mm-hmm. It's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Got nothing.
Got nothing. Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. Now, my question to you is, what year do you think Earth Day was founded?
Oh, 70s.
Really? You thought the 70s?
Because I'm thinking hippies, like 70, tree hugger kind of thing.
Yeah, 1970 exactly on the dot, actually.
Bam!
I thought it was like a newer one. I thought it was like 2010. Like,
No, they started it, and now millennials take from there.
Yeah, I thought it was a millennial.
Oh, well, speaking of Earth Day, I actually could add something to that.
Go ahead.
Is it good? Am I good?
That's it.
Okay, check it out. I always tease about it.
I always look.
I always tell you about some of the weird things that hedge funds or big companies do to track the assumed performance of a company. I always give the example of there was a hedge fund. I got to look this up sometime. I'll do a video on it. That actually took satellites and they studied the satellite images of all the Walmart parking lots to see cars going in and out. And every day they would track the cars, and they were able to assume their earnings for the quarter based on the traffic going into those parking lots.
No way.
I kid you not. So that was that one. This one, speaking of Earth Day, is Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley, we get all the little alerts and things here that tell what they're telling their customers, right? So we sort of intercept them, and we're able to tell our customers what Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, SunTrust, etc., are telling their customers without getting in trouble. Right. Anyways, here's the latest from Morgan Stanley. They're telling their customers to buy Apple.
Oh.
Just flat out. They're just telling people buy Apple. They're customers. I'm not telling them. They said that the reason why? They're measuring the nitrogen dioxide levels in China, and that is a leading indicator as to how Apple's production is going in China. Nothing about numbers, rumors, or anything, just they're studying the air.
That's insane.
Here's the thing. Their quote was, air quality data from the 4 major Chinese manufacturing locations suggests currently that device production remains above seasonal levels, which combined with build forecasts that are above the forecast point to a potential for a better than expected third quarter. They're basically saying the third quarter they're going to report higher than expected there. They said that factories in China are working currently at a higher than normal rate. And
wow,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I like that one. That one's fun.
That's different. So that means pollution in China is getting worse. And I saw that when they were shut down. They said all of a sudden you could see in China it was less pollution.
Who's measuring this?
Morgan Stanley measuring the nitrogen dioxide levels.
Wow.
Yeah, those are some smart dudes.
Are we gonna start doing stuff like that?
It was a little cloudy today. I don't know, and I thought like. Cold, hot was going to be.
Yeah, it was nice last night.
That's the extent of what I do. Really nice last night. Yeah, actually, I'll give you that. Anyways, earnings for Apple's on April 30th after hours. They always halt the stock beforehand. Apple's down about 6% relative to the stock market, currently down about 12% year to date. Extra stats there for you.
Nice. You want? Oh, is that I've been putting the claps and stuff in there. Oh, that's not yours though?
That's not mine.
So we take back.
That was Morgan Stanley's. I'll give you one in a moment. I'll give you a reason to clap in a moment. What else you got?
You want to do you want to talk about that airplane I showed you yesterday? Because I thought that was kind of cool. We could put the pictures in of the airplane with the seats turned.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, that came out yesterday. That's from an Italian manufacturer. Basically, they claim that flying is not going to be the same, so we're going to have to adjust the way our planes look. And you're going to see it, or you see on the screen, I guess, the way, or you see that picture there.
Nope.
By the way,
nope.
That middle seat is It appears to be backwards. Yep. But they got the mat, or not the mask, but the tempered glass or whatever that is going around. I like that.
I like that idea, but think about in a seat on an airplane. You're already doing this thing if you're sitting in coach or something in the back economy, and now they're going to put a glass. Like, I don't know that I'm doing that. And you want me to sit backwards?
Yeah, and I don't like that you're possibly making eye contact with your person there. Like, you have to look straight ahead, or you can stare at these two people.
Turn around and be like, "Achoo!"
Oh, jeez.
And you just see it splash.
Yeah, wait, yeah, because now...
You're head to head, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not a whole lot better. But anyway, and then the Italian people that make the planes actually posted that on Instagram, which I thought was fascinating. Like, they're like, hey, we're probably going to do this.
I'm fascinated by airplanes in general, and I was watching the one where it's an airplane. Let's say this is an airplane, but the fuselage is not part of the airplane. So in the event that the engines go out, the whole fuselage comes apart. The plane can just crash, and this thing has parachutes that come out and it floats down.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, what did we mention yesterday? How you're used to taking off on a plane and you're used to going up like this, but you're going to be sitting in the middle seat. You start leaning forward as the plane's going that way.
Nope.
That's the worst.
Yeah, and that would, people for a while they would like have your drinks all out and everything, and there's a little turbulence, but you're used to turbulence in a certain way.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's like, where's it going? It's going that
and
way.
you just spilled that on the person behind you and to your right.
It's got the virus on it.
That's the worst. Anyway, so I'll put that in there instead of talking about Chipotle and Snap earnings.
I found a Chipotlanes.
Really?
Last night, right on Overton. They got a Chipotlanes.
By the mall?
Yeah.
Is it what Chipotle was and now it's Chipotlanes?
Well, they're all Chipotle, but they call that the Chipotlanes for a drive.
So it's not separate.
It's not technically separate. No, you just drive around.
Oh, well, that's cool.
But it's a standalone Chipotle.
Yeah. I'd only heard about those. I didn't know we had those around here.
Finally, we get some. Finally.
And then going back to yesterday's video, you had talked about the weighting of the S&P. I think you started a thought and then you just didn't finish it, if I'm not mistaken.
Happens.
But basically what you were talking about was the weighting of the S&P. The S&P is weighted, 20% of the S&P is weighted by 5 major companies, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and all that.
Yep.
And which is kind of crazy. And it seemed like you were going into back in February.
They only show that today?
What?
Can we show that today?
That's up right now.
Isn't
that cool? But back in February, they only took up 19% of the S&P. The markets have gone down, and they now take up more than 20%, I believe, of the S&P. But that was your thought. You were headed somewhere with that, and then shiny.
So Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook. Those were the 5 names that you hopefully saw on the screen. What I was trying to say, I guess I messed that up. So what's interesting is when the stock market was at highs, February 19th, those 5 stocks made up less of a percentage of the S&P than they currently do now. And we all know the stock market's fallen. So how fascinating is it that the stock market's fallen, those 5 stocks essentially take more share of the market? Very interesting. And that's largely because of Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. Amazon, really.
Amazon's been the one kind of. Well, Microsoft's having a nice little quarantine as well.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I do know.
Okay. So sorry, we'll update on that one. All right, I got one last thing for you. Do you have anything else?
I was just going to bring up the gift for Stock Madness, but we can wait. The gift from Stock Madness is in, but that was just...
Oh, it came in.
It's in. Yeah. Don't look around. You don't want me looking at your computer. You don't look around. You're looking for the gift. It's in.
Are we going to share it here?
Potentially. You get through what you got to get through, and then we got one more small thing.
Okay. We're talking today about 2 stocks, Atlas Worldwide and Constellation Brands. Atlas Worldwide, you're familiar with because that's who Mom used to work for. Mm-hmm. They fly basically stuff around the world in these big planes. Actually talked to a pilot one day from him. Oh. And they also fly oil executives, things like that around. Mainly cargo. So we're talking about them and Constellation Brands drinks.
Yeah.
And cannabis nowadays. But anyways, both of these companies applied for what's known as a shelf offering. And they applied for a special one that's called mixed shelf offering. And so a shelf offering, I know you know, but I'm just going to share this with everybody. What is a shelf offering and what does this mean? Does it affect the stock price of Atlas Worldwide or Constellation Brands? A shelf offering basically is when a company says, we want to offer more shares to the public, but if you have to file with the SEC and everything. If we do this now, it could potentially scare investors. So if, for example, like Atlas Worldwide, we all know they're probably struggling a little bit. And so if they offered more shares to the public, it could drive the share price down. So what they do is they say, we'd like to apply for a shelf offering with the SEC, which basically just says, we want to issue X number of shares. We don't know the price yet. We don't know how much we want to issue, but we want the ability to issue those shares. And the SEC says, okay, we'll give you 3 years, and at any point you can go ahead and issue those shares. So essentially they're taking shares, putting them on a shelf, saying we'll get to that. What they can now do, like Constellation Brands and Atlas Worldwide, is they can say, we're going to let the news settle down a little bit. We know we have the ability to raise this money with these shares, but we don't want to do it when headlines are bad. So they don't, now they can just basically say, tomorrow, and they can issue all these shares. They can also do it in pieces. They can say little by little they want to drip out shares. So they're doing that because they're trying to avoid making headlines from people that know they're already probably struggling a little bit there. Now, a mixed shelf offering is just a fancy way of saying it's going to include bonds or warrants to buy shares or stock, secondary offering. It could be anything, really. So they've got a whole bunch of crap that they're going to put on the shelf, and they don't know how they're going to issue it yet. They're just going to do it at some point. Also, they don't have to pay the SEC. Those guys, they're so expensive. They don't have to pay the SEC every time they want to release more shares. So by saying we're doing a shelf offering, they're basically saying, we don't know, but we're going to offer shares, and here's your money, and then they can go put it on the shelf. And then when they want to do this, release the shares, they can. When they do it, you'll just see on the news like Atlas Worldwide issues another 45 million shares or something. That will be a part of that shelf offering, but the technical term for it is called a takedown. So when they actually decide, okay, let's put out 50 million shares or whatever it is, that's called a takedown. They put them out there, and that's the end of that. So that was relevant because you got Atlas Worldwide, Constellation Brands, both doing mixed shelf offerings today, not offering anything, but they will be. Too geeky?
I don't think it's too geeky. No.
It's relevant. It's happening.
No, it's happening. It's in the news. I think it's
Outside the virus.
Outside the virus. I think the people like that.
Hey, they can't all be winners, but if you like the details of the inner workings of how stock and things are applied there, I thought about doing a membership channel. You know, you could do that on YouTube.
You
can just, it's like $5 or whatever. I don't know, whatever you do, but you can do a membership channel where I could do things like this, where then not everybody has to watch the geeky stuff. If you want, you're a part of it. If not,
Yeah.
we just have to I don't want to make it like a profit thing. We have to figure, who can we help? You know, like starving professional athletes that have been quarantined.
Wow. You know, that's...
No.
Okay.
Maybe drum corps. I'd really like to help them. Maybe if there's something we set and say you make like $5 off it, somehow we could funnel it to them.
They need it right now, don't they?
First, we need to know if there's people interested in that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Or like stock picking, things like that. Anyways, go ahead. Getting a little long?
Getting a little long. Speaking of professional athletes, are we just going to forget about the Wonderlic test? No, we said on Monday.
Yeah.
We said, hey, Monday, Future Us is going to take this Wonderlic test. Now we're
Send
halfway
me the
through the
link.
week.
Send me the link. You got a link? I want to do the same one you do, though.
Okay. I can send you that link. Well, that's got to be done by Friday, and it's like 30, 45 minutes. And that's shortened from what it usually is. So it's a time commitment.
There'll be no closing beat on Friday. Actually, there won't be, but no closing beat on Friday, so maybe I'll get a free moment to attend.
Well, we're not going to give the results on Outside the Virus on Friday.
There will be an Outside the Virus, no closing beat, so yeah, I need to get it started on it. Oh yeah, send me the link.
Okay. I'll figure it out.
I'm really interested to see what's on the test. Is it a competition?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's always a competition, right?
Are you gonna do that thing where you're like, hey Siri, what's this question?
No, I want to take it straight up. I'm very curious.
Okay.
I'm very curious.
And this means how smart we are?
Yeah, it's going to give you a general idea how smart
And
you
are we given like the North Korea numbers, or are we given the real
Well,
numbers?
we'll see how we do. We'll see if we're close, and then
We'll talk about it?
Yeah.
All right.
We wait on the gift. It's already a long video. You have one more thing?
I have nothing. I'm waiting for a gift.
Yeah, this is a long video.
So tomorrow?
Yeah, do it tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
I really don't know what it is. Tomorrow we'll do the what is the Stock Madness gift or prize? Not a gift.
Yeah, it's the prize. Yeah,
the prize for Stock Madness. If you haven't seen Stock Madness, we've got a bit of a challenge going on. Okay.
Yeah, and it's way cooler than I thought. By the way, I said the gift is awesome, where the prize is awesome, but it's awesome.
He doesn't make those faces either, so it's got to be pretty cool. Is it a Pac-Man game? No, I saw the box. I mean, I've seen the box. So we're looking at what, like this?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so it's not a dog.
No, it's not a dog. Not a dog.
All right. It's not Morgan Brennan either, is it?
No, it's not Morgan Brennan.